What's up, y'all? This is Brent Densford, and you are watching or listening to the Wheel and Trigger podcast. This is going to be episode number 1. I was really excited. I was privileged enough, and I had the pleasure to sit down with the phenom Dakotah Phend directly after our 2022 Masters of Dirt. This is Sunday, mains night. Everything's done. Everybody is letting loose. And needless to say, we had a few adult beverages before we attacked this podcast. So we hope you really enjoy it. It's a good listen. And without further ado, here we go. That was pretty good.
That was on time. That was on cue.
We good?
You're on. All right.
All right. So I'm Brent. That's Dakotah Phend. This is the pilot, the first episode ever of what's going to be called Wheel and Trigger, which is a podcast. And I don't really know what it's all about yet.
It's about something.
We're going to find our way, So I got Dakotah Phend here, and we've become pretty close over the last year or so.
Yeah.
Business-wise, so obviously you're somewhat of an employee. You're also one bad motherfucker with a wheel and your trigger, right?
Yeah, it's been good. We've known each other for a few years now through just Beach RC Masters and racing, and now I've been able to represent you a little bit of more of a personal business matter, and it's been going good, dude. I'm excited.
We're one and the same though.
Yeah.
Like we one thing that's different about our relationship is we can hang out, we drink, we have fun. A lot of people in the industry, kind of just hang back, a little corporate in a sense. I mean, you work for one of the biggest corporations in all of the industry, but in the grand scheme of things, though, people have to still be people. I mean, we're not just. I don't want to offend everybody the first podcast.
no, it's tough. It's I've got caught up in it too. It's a tough matter to try to kind of have that balance of professionalism and having fun and enjoying it. And at the end of the day, we all do this for fun, and that's how we started. So I try my best to remember that sometimes. And like I said, sometimes we forget. But why we're here right now for this race is one of the reasons that it's easy to remember. We're here to have fun. And
Masters of Dirt is not the race for the squares, so to speak. Like if you come to Masters of Dirt, I'm going to be running around trying to feed you some liquor, or we're going to be trying to do something out of the ordinary. And that's just for the people that are watching or listening. Masters of Dirt is over as of we
got a few hours.
5 hours, 4 hours ago.
It's been a few hours. So.
Yeah, so this is Masters of Dirt 2022. It was really awesome. I mean, I'm proud of what we've done as a company, and I'm proud of the race. I'm proud of the people that come. This was definitely one of the most successful events that I've ever put on and even been to. So my goal is not to talk about RC and racing, but being that this is a Masters of Dirt, somewhat of an addition, before we, kind of move on to what's important. How was your experience this year, 2022? You're coming off of being the defending Masters of Dirt. You did just lose by 4 points to Spencer Rivkin. You had a bad truck run, and that could have changed things. But Spencer was on his point. I mean, sure. I haven't seen Spencer run that good in a long time. But how was it for you?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Track was gnarly. We were kind of sending it in qualifying. There was a couple options that you were able to do that, kind of was a make it or break it section, and we did that qualifying, and then going to the mains, we kind of backed it down a little bit. That triple step up was kind of one of the big options. So most of us decided just to double single during the main events and really all the classes. So that was cool to see kind of everyone get on the same page and just kind of play it smart and, not do anything dumb. So we were able to do that. And Yeah, I mean, two-wheel drive went pretty decent. Was able to finish second. Definitely wasn't one of my best races. But considering that, was able to stay second. Was quite a bit ways behind Spencer. Me and Tater had a really good battle, which was cool to see. He's been working his way up and had a really, really good overall weekend. Drove really awesome the whole weekend. So that was cool to see. Had a good battle with him. And then truck had some unfortunate things happen. Some of it was me, some of it wasn't. And they was able to finish out strong in four wheels. So, overall, it's frustrating not to get that overall win, but that's how it goes sometimes, and that's why we line up to race. So, was good to at least end on a high note.
Yeah, you spoke of Tater. I told him the same thing. I'm proud of Tater. Yeah. Tater has really stepped up, and he's maturing. He's becoming a good kid. I've dealt with Tater in the past. A lot of people have dealt with Tater in the past, and I've told the story a lot of times. One of the first times he was ever at Beach RC, he just fucking went crazy, got mad. It was during his stock days when he thought he was, he just got upset when things went wrong. Yeah. He sent it into a wall head on after the race was over because he lost. And I went over, I talked to Mike, and I said, Tater, I pulled him aside. I said, if you ever do that again, don't ever come back to my shop. I've never had a problem with him since, but watching him at Worlds, watching him this weekend, I'm proud of him. I think he's, obviously you guys race together a lot. So having you guys together and he can see what it's like to have a professional program and somebody that can hold his emotions in while racing, I think you've been a really big, from the outside looking in, I feel like you're a real big impression on his program. And I know Mike helps you a lot, especially at, nitro races and pits and stuff like that. And probably more than just that. Yeah. But I'm really proud of Tater. I think he's growing up to be a fine young man. And I watched your battle, and I kept on saying, damn it, Tater, let him go, dude. Yeah. It was one of those races where I'm like, oh, man, if he could just break away from Tater holding him off. And I sat back and I was, oh, you know what? When it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It's racing. Like you said, you line up just like everybody else.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. He's been, like I said, he's been maturing a lot. He did really good at Worlds. Went out there with, it was his first Worlds without, really any experience on really driving anywhere besides in the U.S. And it was a unique track. There was definitely a little bit of a disadvantage coming into that. And he was able to adapt. We kind of made that decision like, hey, you want to just drive around or you want to change your car and try to get faster? And he made that decision to hey, let's go for it and, see where we can end up. And he did really good. He was able to adapt to the track, adapt to the car, and did really good. And then, this weekend he's been putting in the time. We went and did some testing, and, he showed up and was ready to go, drove how he knew how to drive, and really made a lot of progress. So it was really cool to see. Sometimes when you do testing, it doesn't really translate to racing, and he was able to make that happen. So, like I said, it was awesome to see, and I'm hoping he can keep it rolling, and stay behind me for a couple more races.
Yeah, I mean he's going to be fast for sure. I think right now would be a great time for us to take a shot of Fireball and get this fucking party started. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, Robert. A lot of people won't see Robert, but he is on the other side of the wall. Cheers. Oh, God. So, full transparency. Wow. So, full transparency, good. Yeah, there's good and there's bad. I have this thing I have to live up to, the Fireball. I even got the nickname in a lot of places as Fireball, because we started Fireball Friday nights many years ago, 8 years ago with Dixie Nationals, and then Masters carried on. Oh, God. So I've got to a point now where I'm just like, fuck, I just want to drink Jack or Patron. Or,
you got to do the Fireball.
But and people bring me buckets or bottles, and I've got it everywhere. I've got Fireball in every refrigerator that I own. I've got a refrigerator right there. I got a refrigerator over there. 2 refrigerators at the shop. 2 refrigerators at my house. Every single refrigerator has Fireball. And I'm so tired of it. It's like, all right, guys.
Let's switch it up next year.
For everybody that likes to bring me a gift, Patron. All right, I'm moving on to tequila. Moving forward, we're like, yeah. I got Paco working over there. He's like, oh, you need the tequila. You know, it's like, okay, I'm good with tequila, you know?
Yeah.
So you're a whiskey drinker?
I'm a whiskey guy.
Yeah, me too. I love whiskey. I love whiskey. I don't feel bad the next day on whiskey. It's one of the reasons why I still drink Fireball, because even with the sugar in it, I still don't get a bad hangover. Yeah. I can drink a lot of it. Feel really fun, really fine. Just keep moving forward. But you brought me a bottle of whiskey this week, and tell me what was the story about that. You said, because when you told me the story, let's just be honest. I had been drinking. I don't remember everything, so I'd like to remember it. This will like encapsulate the actual story so that when I'm drinking that whiskey, I'll know exactly. So tell me where you got that and what it is.
So it's kind of like a random story. So me and my wife Chloe lived in Lansing for 5 years. We recently moved down to Indiana, but we were living in Lansing, and there's a distillery there that does whiskey, vodka, gin, kind of a little bit of everything as far as the hard liquor is concerned. And we went and did a tour, got to kind of see how they make all the stuff. You know, they have all the stuff aged in barrels and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they had a little bit, like had half a bottle left of this whiskey. And I went and did some taste testing, and it was by far the best. So I asked them about it. Like, oh, hey, we just made this randomly. Didn't know if it was going to be good or not. And it takes 5 years to make. So I'm like, all right. Well, they're like, we made some more. 4 years later, we'll have it. So it was a 5-year venture. So I'm like, oh shit, you know, it's gonna be a little bit before I can get that. And we moved to Indiana. You know, it's been years later, and me and my wife went and met my parents, Nancy and Doug, up in Lansing for, you know, dinner and stuff. And we went to the distillery, went and hung out, got some drinks, and it happened to be the week that they came out with this whiskey again.
Nice.
I'm like, there's, you know, like, what are the odds?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
4.5 years later, we come back, and this whiskey comes out this week. So I'm like, it was meant to be. And we went and got quite a few bottles of it, and, you know, tried it out again while we were there. And it's called Red Wine Blue, so perfect for America, for Beach RC.
Absolutely.
And there's actually a reason it's called this. I didn't know this at the time, but I actually went and read the label before I brought it out here for you. And they made it with red, white, and blue corn. So,
I remember that. Now it's coming back to me.
Hence the red, white, and blue. But it's a cool story, and it's just really smooth stuff, and goes good with a little bit of splash of Coke. You can make it a little stronger than Jack, and it's good to go. So
yeah, we had that. We drank some together. You made me a cup the other night, and I took the rest of the bottle home. You and I drank some, and it was very smooth. I'm looking forward to. So my wife got me this cup. It's like this square. It's like triple the size of a shot glass. All right. And it's got this silicone piece that goes in at like an angle. So what you do is you pour water in to this silicone piece, and what it does is it traps the water on the top side. Maybe the bottom side. I don't fucking know. So it traps the water. So half of the shot glass, which is not a shot glass, it's actually like a whiskey drinking glass. It's probably, let's just say, half the size of a solo cup. All right. And when you pull out the silicone, it's got a triangle piece of ice. And that's what I normally drink, either like Fireball on ice or Peach Crown or Jack, whatever. If I want to drink something on the rocks, I pull that out of the freezer. But it's real nice. So what I remember about the night that Fireball Friday, which was 2 nights ago, is that it was very smooth. I could taste it even with the little Coke. Like
it's a little bit different.
Whiskey, if you drink whiskey, you know, like how it'll taste without any mixers or whatever. And it was very smooth. So I know this week, because I am going to take a little time off this week. For everybody that thinks I work all the time, you're right.
A little bit of time.
I work a lot. And but this week I told Tiffany, my wife, I was like, all right, I'm going to go to work at 10, and I'm going to get off at 4 all week this week. We'll see if that happens or not. But
it was your anniversary this weekend, so you know you got to make up for it a little bit.
Yeah. So normally, speaking of which, we go from Masters and then like a week or two off because it's Halloween and whatever. And my wife and I'll do. In the past, we've gone camping for our anniversary, hiking or whatever. We've gone on a short 3-day cruise. You know, she knows, and thankfully, my wife is just amazing. Allows me to follow my dreams, because this is one of my dreams to do what I'm doing. But she also understands, like, oh, we got married on this date, and now it's the only date in the world you can carve out for Masters.
Of course.
But it is our date. Like, I mean, in the whole country of RC racing, the fourth weekend of October is Beach RC.
Yeah, it stays free. This is the race. This is where everyone goes.
Absolutely. And this is the first year, matter of fact, this is the first year in a long time Jason took his carpet race and moved it, because Rona has the NC, or what is it? NCTS. And I talked to him. I was like, bro, please just move this race 1 week before, after. I don't care if it's a month. I don't care. Like, give me my weekend. I've worked hard for this weekend. I don't remember what I said. It probably not all that, but in my mind, I said, "Give me this weekend," right? And he did it this year, and not that it helped our entries. It wasn't about entries. It was more about just being the sole race of the weekend. Yeah, and not being arrogant or anything, but I believe we earned the right that Masters is its standalone event. There's a lot of great events in this country. We deserve it. We work hard for it. It's not like a money grab or anything like that. So thanks to Jason Rono, JConcepts, moving the NCTS to the week before and getting that over with allows us to have them here. You know, even Jason showed up. I know he was trying to race and something happened where he couldn't. But, man, it's like, I don't even know what I was saying. And I don't even know why I went to this point. But I do know Masters of Dirt, every year, fourth weekend of October. Yeah. I don't even know why. Robert, what was I even talking about?
Your anniversary.
My anniversary.
There you go. It all connects back.
So my wife, my lovely wife, my anniversary, thank you. I'm glad you're paying attention, because my drunk ass is missing out. Yeah. My wife, every year it's like, oh, it's always on Masters. Yes, babe, it's always on Masters. And we celebrated yesterday. Not the way we should, because I get home late. We should go to dinner. We should get naked or something. I don't know what it should be, but we don't do it the way we should. We always push it off. Damn, man, life throws you curveballs, Yeah. I mean, my wife and I, we were 11 years yesterday. I started this business in 2013. When did we start this, by the way? No, this podcast. 11? Let's just say 11. Yeah. Okay, we'll just say 11. That way I can kind of try to keep it within, 14 hours or something like that.
Yeah, a few hours. I do some podcasts, it's 30 minutes. Sometimes they're 3 hours.
Yeah,
it all rounds out,
But anyway, I never would have thought Beach RC would have got to the point where I was like having to plan around life events. Yeah. It was just a job. It was a passion. It wasn't what people know it as. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I started this when my child was just born. It was a passion. It was every dollar I had in my savings account. So for me, it was like whatever, whatever transpires, whatever. But anniversaries, women don't forget that. And I don't forget my date. Unfortunately, the date is always on a bad timing for us to actually spend anniversaries together. So
every few years you get a break. It ends up probably like on a Monday or maybe a Tuesday after the race, something like that.
So I'm so ignorant when it comes to leap years, and I told my wife, I said, babe, next year is Sunday, okay? Anniversary is going to be on Sunday.
I remember this. I was right there. She called your ass out.
And then I said, okay, on Monday, or the following year in 24, it's going to be on Monday. She's like, leap year. Fuck. Okay, so it jumps back to Friday or something. I'm like, oh, I can't win. So whatever. It is what it is. So how long have you and Chloe been married?
You put me on the spot, man.
Well,
Come on.
My wife my wife yesterday says, or no, she was there, what time? She was there Friday, right? Until about 10:30, she had to pick up our daughter from Fun Gym. And she says, oh, by the way, it's our anniversary. I know he doesn't remember. How do I not remember? Everything, it's always 10:22. Yeah. Okay? It's like, that's my number, 10:22. That was my racing number. That was her softball number, like 10. was her number. 22 was my number. That was always our number, right? So it's like, I can't forget that. We got married on our number.
Yeah, it adds up. You got to add to your sleeve when you finish that up.
She won't let me. I was going to do the whole wedding band thing because I hate wearing a ring. It's not because I don't want to wear a wedding ring. It's because I hate wearing a ring.
Yeah.
It's something about the feeling. I have sensitive hands. I'm a welder. I've done a lot of things in my life, and I don't like it. It's not because I don't want to. And she always busted my ass about it. It's like, just let me tattoo it. And she don't even want me to tattoo it. So she don't have an option. I'm going to tattoo it. I don't even care what it says, if it's 2 lines or if it's some Aborigine something. It just Brock, if you're listening or when you watch this, just next time I come in to work on my sleeve, fuck up my finger for me. Yeah, just a little blah. But like, that's the whole thing. It's like, I know my anniversary.
Yeah.
Don't try to tell me I don't. I might not remember wanting to pick up my kid from school. I know when I got married.
There you go.
So, anyways, when were you married?
I'm actually pretty close to you.
I gave you time to figure out.
I know.
I gave you time to figure out.
No, I'm actually. It was actually pretty close. It's 10/16, so it's been. It's actually within the week of years, but it's been 6 years now. So.
Oh wow,
man, time goes by so quick.
It does.
We got married. We got married young, but man, it goes by so quick. It's been flying by, and I appreciate the anniversaries because it kind of like lets you kind of think back and remind yourself of the year that you guys have had, and what you've been able to accomplish in that last year, and just within your marriage itself. So I always really appreciate that. Obviously you do that kind of. When it's New Year's, but normally you're really drunk at that point. So, the anniversary gives you a little bit of time to kind of give you that year in review and figure out what you guys have been able to accomplish, what's happened and what you've been through, whether good or bad. And, at the end of the day, you guys came out on the other side. So
6 years?
It's been 6 years already.
Wow. I mean, you guys are babies.
Yeah.
Because you're what? You're 25, right?
25, yeah.
How old's Chloe?
25.
Okay.
Same age.
How far apart are you guys?
So my birthday's in February and hers is in May. So
you're close.
A few months, but not too bad.
Very close. Like Tiffany, I'm in June, she's in July. So I'm like a month and a few days older than her. But yeah, so that's what's interesting, right? So you work towards like building, but you have these steps, and then during these steps, somebody's not happy. It could be in your career. It could be in your relationship. It could be in a lot of things. But these steps only lead you to what makes you stronger, what builds like your relationship better. And that's, Tiff and I we've experienced it all. This year was 11 years marriage, 15 years together, child, raising her first child, my stepchild. It's life, and you travel a lot. So like, obviously at this point I would, no child, you guys are, focus on career and everything else. So it's so crazy where we lead ourselves based on what we're trying to accomplish, but things get thrown in, there's always that bump.
Yeah. There's always something that happens, or, like I said, whether it be good or bad, there's always something there that you got to figure out together. And I think that's how you grow and figure it out as a couple. That's that commitment of marriage, is figuring it out. Yeah. Figuring it out together.
No, it's a partnership.
Yep.
Because, we both fuck up. We all, nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? Yep. When we work so much, you travel a lot. I travel 1/10 of what you travel. And imagine what they have to deal with. You know what I mean? And Chloe gets to travel with you a good bit. I love Chloe, man. I wish she was here.
Yeah, I know. She usually can make it out.
Yeah. This is the first one she hadn't been to.
Yeah?
Yeah. This first Masters she hadn't been to. But, I've dealt with it in the sense of the children. And my child and my children. So I've had my oldest since she was 9, and she's 24 now. And my child that was born, she's 10. And if I leave for a week, it's a lot, And I wish that it was just easy. Just go in and I wish I could just take care of everything that Tiffany needs taken care of. And it's just one of those things, like, we're not just having fun or just racing or just working. we're also having life. You know, life just doesn't stop. So I get to the point where, you know, I do everything I possibly can. I just can only hope that I can do as much as I need to when I get home. Mm-hmm. Marriage is for the strong. Yeah. It's not for the weak.
There's always a sacrifice and a compromise, and, you know, like you said with traveling, you know, you're gone, you miss a lot, and, you know, it's tough. You got to figure it out and be willing to figure it out. Yeah. You know, both of you guys. So
I mean, put you on the spot. You guys want kids?
Yeah, I think eventually, you know, Chloe has, you know, started her career in the hospital and stuff, and been doing really well with that, really busy with that, and then I've been doing racing, so it's definitely something to think about in the future. You know, we're still young, we have time, but I mean, obviously, you know, we want to have kids in the future, and with my travel schedule tough and stuff, it's going to be tough to, you know, figure out a right time to do that, and, you know, have that compromise and really just figure that situation out. You know, there's not really going to be a perfect time or a perfect situation. I think that's something, you know, that I struggle with is I'm very, like, organized and, you know, want everything to be perfect, and there's not going to be a perfect time to have kids. You know, that's what everyone tells me. It's like, some people tell me, oh, you know, just get it done while you're young and you can still enjoy it. And other people are like, oh, wait till you're old. And, you know, there's no perfect time. You just, it happens when it happens, you know, and you can just try to be prepared and do your best. So we'll definitely have kids in the future, and, you know, just do our best. You know, I don't know exactly what's going to happen or when it's going to happen, but I know that we're in it together, and we'll figure it out. Yeah.
I was told at one point is like, what was the saying? It was like, fuck. It was one of those things. It made you think, but it's like, if you're waiting for the right time to have kids, it's never the right time. Yeah. I think that's exactly what it was. But that's the whole thing. So my wife was like, we need to have kids by a certain age, because when a woman, they consider themselves a clock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And, you know, for me, it was like, well, I'm not ready. And she's like, well, you better be ready. Like, it's now or never type thing. I'm like, okay, let's get it done. But, you know, family changes things, and, you know, somebody has to, there's always going to be sacrifice. But, man, just from personal experience, and you being somebody that, you know, you grew up in this industry and you have a wife that's in hospital business, it's like, there's nothing better than having a child and being able to, I don't know, like, have an extension of yourself. You know what I mean? So it's cool to think like, okay, you know, we're going to plan it and we're going to do it. And there's never a right time.
Yeah.
Ever. You'll never be like, okay, I'm ready, because your career is going to demand you to be somewhere.
Yep.
And then your wife's going to be like, well, I don't want to do this by myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm telling you from my personal experience.
No, I appreciate it. Let's keep it going, man. Give me all the details.
No, it's, you know, Chloe, what's really great about you and Chloe is, like, Chloe was part of the business. Like, her family understands. And she's been, you know, what did you tell me? Her family had a track for 13, 16 years, something like that. Yeah, it was something,
I don't remember the exact day, but yeah, it was 13 to 16.
Is it State Line?
Yeah, it was State Line. So they've held ENATs, they've held Nitro Nationals. You know, they know how it goes. Chloe knows how it goes. She grew up at the track, you know, right. So it made my life way, way easier. She knew what she was getting into for the most part. You know, she travels to a lot of the races. She's the pit girl at a lot of the races, you know, doing the fuel stops at the
and a good
races.
One at that.
Yeah.
Not just a pit girl. Like, she's legit.
She's really good. So she knows how it goes. She's a part of it. She's really supporting. So it's made my life a lot easier. You know, I mean, it's still tough, obviously, with the traveling schedule, but yeah, it's made my life a lot easier, and, you know, definitely fortunate to have that in the wheelhouse. So
nobody that is competing today wants to think about little Dakotah Phend's coming to the track right now. I'm telling you that right now. They're like, oh, please wait. Totally different subject, you know, like, nobody wants to think about, like, little Dakotah Phends.
That's a scary thought.
So we have a similar interest. We love the river or the lake. Mm-hmm. You love boats.
Yep.
I love boats. I love to drink. You kind of like to drink.
I don't mind it.
Boats and drinking go together.
Yeah.
I feel like a Viking.
The sun, the weather.
Sun, the weather. You barely got any of that where you live, but whatever.
Yeah.
You come down and visit me, we got sun and weather.
Yeah, it's a little longer. You know,
we got a little more time in here. Yeah. So I'm a pontoon guy just because of where we're at, right? I've got a pontoon boat. We party, we cook, we grill, we swim, we have a good time. But you got a wakeboard boat, yep. Right? So I've been thinking a lot about boats, and like I'm not buying a new boat. Can't afford a new boat. I'm in the RC business for all of you that are watching right now. I don't make a lot of money, but what I do is enjoy my time with my family and the money I do make. So my goal is all summer, go out on the water. That's like my family's time. We get about 3-4 months of family time. What is it like in Michigan, Indiana, Michigan, in that area?
Yeah.
Right. So, I can't say I've ever been on the water in that area. I've been on the water in a lot of places, but nothing up north. So like when I get in the water down here, it's like 80 degrees. We jump off the back. We're cooking on the grill off the side of the pontoon. What is it like partying as a Dakotah Phend on a boat in Michigan, Indiana area?
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's probably a little bit different. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's not 80-degree water. We maybe get 80 degrees for like 2 days out of the year. Maybe peak August it reaches that for a couple of days, but it's usually a little bit chillier than that. But yeah, I don't even remember how we got into the hey, let's buy a wakeboard boat. That's not something random you just do. But me and Claire kind of just I honestly don't remember exactly how it came about, but it was like, hey, let's get a wakeboard boat. We've never been on one up until this point. Never surfed, never wakeboarded, really nothing.
Really?
We've skied before, and that was it. And
water skied.
Yeah, water skied, snowboard, stuff like that. Honestly, I think it came about from snowboarding because we both snowboard. So we're like, man, wake surfing would be sweet. It was probably me. I'm always looking for the next thing. I'm like, oh, dude, that looks so sick. So I think that was probably
whip.
Yeah, it was probably my fault, but. I honestly, I don't remember exactly how it came about, but it's like, hey, let's make this happen. And we found a boat down in Louisiana, way as far as you could get, all the way down in the southwest corner of Louisiana, all the way down there. And we started talking to this guy, super, super nice guy. And we made the trip. Me and my wife and my parents drove down there in the truck. It was a long ass time.
Yeah, from Michigan to Louisiana, it's long for us, and we're halfway there.
Yeah,
that's a long trip.
It was a lot of hours. It took us. We drove straight through, and it took us a day and a half to get down there. And damn. We show up, and I mean, we couldn't have been literally the nicest people ever. So we showed up, and they take us out on the boat, which I feel like is a little bit better than normal. They're filling the boat up with gas, like, oh no, don't worry, we got it. Fill the boat up, take us out. We get out there, and I'm like, the water's a little brown. Like, I don't know if I want to get in this or not. I'm like, is there crocodiles or alligators? I was going to invite
you to hang out with us, but it doesn't sound like you were going to want to.
Is there crocodiles or alligators? Like, we've never seen one. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to pretend that means there isn't any. So, we get out there, we both get up. Chloe kind of smokes my ass. She gets up first time, is surfing off the rope. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. Good for her. And, we get in the boat. We hang out with the buddy's friend. He comes out with the owner of the boat, and we end up staying at his. He has a barndominium. We end up staying there and having a good time with him and his family, and then head home. And, all right, we got a wakeboard boat. Let's figure out what we're doing now. I had no idea how to drive it. I haven't driven a boat in years. I don't really know exactly what I'm doing, so I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm like, all right, V-drives suck. They don't go straight unless you're in drive, and reverse they go this way. Neutral they just kind of go where they want. And I'm like, all right, I don't know what we're getting into, but we'll figure it out. And we did. We have an absolute blast. We do a little bit of wakeboarding. I kind of retired from that. I broke myself last year with the Westergaards, which I'm sure they came up, hung out.
Yep.
Anthony, Ashley, and Mason. They're really cool family. They came up, and I absolutely broke myself wakeboarding. I was having to crawl home and couldn't walk. I didn't remember what happened. I was done. But
sore, man. God,
I absolutely love wake surfing. I'd do it probably every day. It's just the most chill thing I've ever done. You just get up, and I tell everyone, because everyone's a little bit nervous. They always think wakeboarding or water skiing, and I'm like, you can drink a beer while you're doing this.
Right. It's just pushing you, right? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you get the wave going. If you stand there with the back deep and the nose up, you could probably just surf.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is dialed. It's so
I've not done it. I want to. But
we got to get you up there next summer. It is so much fun. It is so dialed. It's just relaxing, which, after you come home from a race, I just want to relax.
Yeah.
I don't want to work on cars. I don't want to go drive more. Everyone always asks me, like, oh, how much do you drive during the week? And I'm like, none.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to drive. I'm like, I race 2 to 3 weeks out of the month. I don't go and practice on my days off. I'm like, I already have, say I race 2 weeks out of the month. Well, I spend another 4 to 5 days getting the cars ready.
Right.
I'm like, so that means I have maybe a week off out of every month. I'm like, I don't want to practice. I don't want to club race.
What
and
are
that
your days
sucks,
off though? Like if you go to a week, let's say you go to AMS is coming up, and you had to be there from Wednesday to Sunday, and you go home Monday. Mm-hmm. What is the next week like? Be getting ready for whatever the next event. What do you have off?
Yeah. So me and Clay have come to this agreement. So I get home Monday. I have the rest of Monday off. Typically, I have Tuesday off. I'm like, give me a day. I need a day.
But if you have Tuesday off, do you just like watch Young and the Restless, or what the fuck do you do?
I don't do shit. The less I can do, the better, dude. I'm like, 100%. I gotta get up and go to the bathroom. Shit. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do anything. Literally nothing. The less I can do, the better.
Exactly.
And sometimes it works out. Sometimes I gotta do something. I'm like, whatever. That's fine. So, sometimes shit happens.
You got a house, dude. You own a house.
Yeah.
So like, there's
always something. Mowing the grass or whatever. I've kind of found comfort and relaxation in that now. So
absolutely.
You get on the zero turn, put some music on, and just mow away, and it goes by real quick. You're 3 hours deep, and I'm like, oh, all right, I'm done. But yeah, I get like day and a half typically, and then I'll think about doing something. And sometimes I gotta work on cars right away and get ready for sometimes it's back to back, and you really gotta get going. Sometimes I have a week off, and we honestly just try to do stuff as much as we can.
So it's really what you're saying is it's not as luxurious as all these RC racers think it is. You're paid, you travel, you fucking, all you do is RC race.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not exactly like that.
It's a good job.
Yeah, it's
You're
great.
doing what you want to do,
love
right?
It. Yeah,
but
it's a passion. I love it. And but you have to, you have to work hard. It would be a lot easier if you didn't have to work on cars. If you just show up and race, say you do 2 races out of the month. That's for the most part pretty much 2 weeks. But then you have to get your cars ready. It takes a good few days per event. So you're in it another, 6 days. So that's 3 weeks out of the month,
Yeah.
So that's a normal job, but you're away from home for 2 of those weeks.
Yep.
So it really adds up. So when I have those days off, I'm like, I would love to club race. I used to do it a lot when I was younger. I miss doing it. And for the most part, people understand. They get it, but I don't want to do that on my days off. I'll go. I went up to a Victory RC a couple weeks ago and just hung out and pitted some people and talked and hung out. And it was great. I loved it. I didn't have to drive.
Right.
I'm like, that was great. I loved just showing up to the track, hanging out, having a good time.
You could leave when you wanted.
Yeah, I could leave when I wanted.
If you wanted to leave, you could leave. If you wanted to help, you could help.
Yeah, I just do whatever I want. If I'm on the track, if I have an RC car, there's always pressure involved.
Yeah.
I've gotten used to
a different standard.
Yeah, I've gotten used to it. I've accepted it. But there's always a pressure involved, whether it's a club race, it's, a regional race, national, worlds, whatever it is. There's always some type of pressure. So it's nice to remember to be able to enjoy the hobby again. And that's why I really enjoy Masters, because we can drink, we can have a good time. It's serious at the end of the day. I want to win more than anything, but I can have a good time.
Well, Masters is. I had an hour-long talk with Alan Horn, and Alan's been a supporter for a long time. But the thing I was trying to get, and he understands, so I don't want to misconstrue this, but what I was, one of the points I was trying to make was this race is made for racers. I'm a racer. I grew up racing cars, motorcycles. I am 100% in my bones, in my blood. I'm a racer. Might not be great at RC. I've had some good times. I've done well in my life with other things. But we built this race for racers. That being said, it's very important to me, the integrity of the championships. The stock master, the master of dirt. Those things to me are very, very homegrown, and I always wanted them to be important. But the last thing I want anyone to do is show up and think like that they have pressure.
Yeah.
Because it was made for you guys. It was made for us, the racer, to enjoy ourselves, to hang out, to have a social life outside of this industry that puts pressure on a select few, but also dictates how people view things, And I feel like we need to have more fun because 95, 98% of all the people that are in this hobby, it's a hobby. And if they're not having fun, why are you working so hard and spending so much money?
Yep.
And my outlook has always been, let's have fun.
Yeah, it's easy to lose it. It's easy to lose that perspective, and like you said, you're spending money, you're taking time off of work, for most people, and it's easy to lose that perspective. We're doing this because we enjoy it. We're doing this because we love it.
So that being said, let's have a shot.
All right,
Robert, you ready? Coming in hot. Oh,
little bounce. We did a little bounce right there. I threw it a little short.
They're a little warmer because they've been out of the fridge since we got
You said
here.
they were in the freezer, but
well,
I don't know if I believe you.
Can you see how big that refrigerator is from where you're sitting?
Yeah.
The freezer is half the size of the bucket of Fireball shots.
It's a mini freezer. It was, it's not bad.
Robert,
Cheers.
For all that you can't see, Robert is the man behind the plan.
Media guy. Cheers.
God damn.
Oh, yeah.
Did I tell you that I'm trying to move away from Fireball?
It's not going to be the Fireball race next year. What is it going to be? Tequila,
Patron Friday.
Patron
Friday.
Patron Friday. I like it. We're going to make that happen. You guys start advertising now, though, so people get on that program.
You heard it first here.
All right.
Wheel and Trigger.
Wheel and
Patron
Trigger.
Friday coming next year at Masters.
We got. You guys don't see. We got a whole bucket down here to finish off. So
I'm trying to remember who brought me that because, so I haven't bought Fireball in years. Well, I personally haven't bought Fireball in years. Yeah. The company's bought bottles every Fireball Friday. Beach RC buys Fireball every year in October pretty heavily, but.
Yeah. The stores knew to stock up on this.
Yeah, exactly.
Masters is coming.
So Fridays or normal Fireball is just given to me. Like I have people because of this to show up, and this actually happened last week. They're like, "We're just in town. We brought you a gift."
Fireball.
It's just a bottle of Fireball. It could be a small bottle. It could be a handle. Yeah. It could be a bucket. Like people bring me Fireball, and I appreciate every single one of them. I love I hate to say cult, but I have like a cult following. People love what we've done in the past, and I've developed a lot of great relationships. But Fireball has just, for whatever reason, just resonated. And I'm like, my cinnamon. I'm just. So we're gonna have to do something. Yeah. I got to figure out what the next happiness part of having fun is.
Yeah. It's better than I remember. I remember, a few years ago, I'm like, I can't do Fireball.
Well, yeah, last year.
The Step Up Challenge, baby. Oh, yeah.
Step Up.
Just so you guys know, I was the winner of the Step Up Challenge last year. I smoked everyone.
Yeah. The last people standing was you, Tyler Jones, and Max Kramer.
Yep.
And
I made it happen with Kevin Abbott's 4-wheel.
Yeah, you had Kevin Abbott's 4-wheel. Max Kramer had a mini B.
Yeah, I'll give him credit. He was the last. He was the second to last one standing with a mini B. He did a great job. I heard it was his first time drinking seriously.
Yeah,
so
he just turned 21.
Hats off to Max, dude. He made it happen. He was a good sport. He did good.
But let's talk about Max because I said to Max earlier today, I was like, bro, I missed you on Friday night. He says to me, I couldn't do it again. I said, well, how are you doing today? This was yesterday, which was Saturday. Yeah. I said, well, how are you doing today? He's like, not worth a shit. I said, well, how'd you do last year after Fireball Friday? He's like, well, not worth a shit. I was like, well, at least enjoy yourself next year, dude. Like, come back to Fireball Friday.
Now he knows. Now he knows. All right, I'll be back for Fireball Friday. Man.
Exactly. I always tell people, like, if you don't do good on Saturday and you don't drink or hang out with us and party, then it's not the problem.
Yeah. We got to call it Patron Friday, though. Patron Friday, guys. That's what's next year.
Patron Friday. Oh God, but that becomes very expensive because Patron's not Fireball pricing. You know?
That's true.
Don't forget, this is a hobby shop business. That's true. We don't make money, dude.
I saw your guys. What's that? The Hooligan race, dude. People are throwing out hundreds. Here's
to the racer.
Here's 100.
To the racer.
Oh, we'll get some.
Do you think I shaved that? Did you think I kept a little bit, dude? Okay, the first $100 goes to the Patron Friday next year, and then the rest of it goes. No, dude, that's not how it works. It was $1,322 this year.
Every year. Every goes
so
up.
I've had some people that we've had some great ideas. Let me tell you. So one guy's like Joe Bornhorst says, bro, you need a B main for the Hooligan. What the fuck you mean we need a B main for the Hooligan? I got 16 people.
Yeah.
I can't afford a B main. He's like, no. Everybody buys their spot for the B main if they don't make it in. And in my mind, I'm like turning. I was like, you're damn right.
That'd be cool.
That goes to the pot.
Yeah.
Because I don't keep any money. Like Dash for Cash, Hooligan, I don't keep money.
Yeah.
It's not about making money.
It's not 50-50. It's 100%.
100%. And goes back to the whole thing. Like, we have to make money to put on a race. It costs a lot of money to put on a race like that. But the race is for the racers. We give back. But those races, those specific races are for the racers. Yeah. And you put your name in Hooligan.
Yeah.
Cav put his name in Hooligan, and so did Brennan Schimmel and a lot of pros, people that get either paid or free shit.
Yeah.
You didn't make it because Hooligan is all about chance. We had 73 entries for Hooligan. Yeah. We take 15. And this was the first year we did the at-large. You had to buy your way in.
Yeah,
and we got $300.
Oh, that was cool. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And what's cool is I'm like, I showed up late. I'm not gonna lie, I slept in a little bit. I showed up and I'm like, I don't remember how it came about, but I was like,
you asked me, you said, hey, can I get on that Hooligan? I was like, yeah, and I put you in.
Yeah, but it was a little, it was a little late. But I showed up and I was like, did you sign up for Hooligan? Did you sign up for Hooligan? I'm like, no. Is it closed? I don't know, but we all signed up a while ago. I'm like, oh man, I got to make it into this. So I'm like, so true story. I go to Brent. I'm like, hey, can I still sign up? He's like, oh yeah, no problem. He's like, that doesn't mean you're going to make it.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, that's perfect. Like that's how it should be. It shouldn't be, oh, hey, you're a pro, you're a Beach RC driver,
nope.
You're an ultimate driver, you're a Nitrolux driver, you keep going on the track list. Yeah, it's supposed to be for the people. Yep. It's supposed to be random, and last year, Cavalry, he made it happen. He made it. And it's random. You never know what's going to happen. So it's cool. It's a really cool race to watch, and it changes a little bit every year. So keep you on your toes.
You can count on a couple of things when it comes to any race I put on. Number one, I'm all about fairness. Yeah. So, especially with the oval guys, man, they're the biggest pain in the balls you'll ever meet. But when it comes down to it, I don't care who you are. I sponsor a lot of people, and I work with a lot of people. But I have a set of rules, and I don't care who you are. I hire people to take care of those. Don't come to me.
Yeah.
When it comes to a Hooligan, it's random. I had 3 people show up on the driver's stand that thought because I put them in the Hooligan drawing that they were in the race. And I had to tell him, it broke my heart. There's this little kid like Bo Zerarian or something like that. I was like, hey, Bo, sorry, buddy, but you didn't get drawn. Yeah. And the poor kid about cried, But that's not the point. The point is you get 73 people, I'm picking 15. I don't care who you are. This year there was no pros. I'm trying to think of anybody that was in that race that was this year. It was
Spencer was trying to get in. Spencer and Joe.
Well, I told somebody
for spot number 16, but
Brennan Schimmel came up to me. He said, "If I give you $300, you let me be number 17." I said, "Yes."
Yes.
But now, I mean, I wouldn't keep it. It would have gone towards the pot. Yeah. But I was like, okay, so Tim Robertson from TR Raceway in Pittsburgh, he gave me $300. Well, he bid. He was the winning bid for $300. That was a victory in itself. If you think about it, last year Cav won $1,001. This year
He split it.
I know.
He ran Tater's car.
No.
I was impressed. He split it.
I get it, but that was $1,001.
Yeah.
This year it was $1,322.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that $1,300 to $300 to get to $1,322 was because 16. Tim Robertson paid $300 to get in.
Yep.
So we raised the bar, and we gave, and so sentimentally, I was very stoked. Nathan Grubbs, who's a local kid, won that money.
Yeah.
And not that I don't care who wins. I don't care who wins Masters. I don't care who wins the Hooligan. I don't care. I'm all about fairness. I'm all about different people. I'm all about competition. So when he won it, it was exciting for me because it was a local kid. It wasn't a pro.
Yeah.
It wasn't Cab, dude. It wasn't Schimmel. It wasn't La Riviere. It was a local kid who's okay. You know, he needs more. He's
that'll go a long ways. Yeah. And probably 11's going to come back to RC.
But you know what he said? He said, "I just made enough money to put a TV in my A-scale racing trailer." I swear to God, dude. Awesome, like man. Exactly.
Right back into RC in some way, shape, or form.
Exactly.
That's cool to see.
And I love that because it wasn't like, oh yeah, I made a bunch of money. I'm going to go pay a truck payment or put wheels on my car or whatever. It was like, I got enough money to put exactly, dude. I got enough money to put a TV in my RC trailer, dude.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's not all about winning or making money. And I told you when we started this podcast, when I had to ask you if you'd be on it, I don't want to talk about RC, but obviously because we're all RC, it's going to lead to it. But what I love about stuff like that is that kid tries and he races with us. He's going to Clemson to college right now. He comes down for the trophy races. And he was here before when he was in high school, and before he went to college. He raced every Wednesday night. And it's nice to see people that have put in some work win something.
Get something out of it.
Something out of it, right. And it's not a big trophy. It's whether you come from money or you don't come from money, he's going to spend it on something that's going to make his RC experience better.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a small niche industry. Mm-hmm. We are not, I don't know what to compare it to, but we're not big.
No, that's why I tell people always ask about it, and I go like, there's a good amount of people into it, but it's so closed off. It's if you know about it, you know about it. If you don't know about it, you're like, what is that? You run a Traxxas Slash. That's how the conversation goes. It's a very big divide, and I think there's a lot of people that have tried to kind of figure out and bridge that gap, but at the end of the day, it's like you said, it's a small industry. We got to band together and make it the best that we can.
Do you think that we can change the industry by, I don't want to say banding together and trying to strong arm, but do you think that there's room to make this industry better? Do you think that with some change and people that are willing to step up and take the next level, that we can make it better?
Yeah, I think so.
How? Where are we lacking right now?
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm drinking Body Armor water. I was gonna put in a resume for Body Armor, so that'd be a good start.
Same resume you sent me.
Yeah, Body Armor. I'm drinking your water. If you can help me out when I put my resume in.
Monster coupon book. Thanks for this awesome fake Yeti. From your friends at Monster.
Yeah, I'll just put this.
I don't have enough Yetis. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I in all seriousness, I think we can make a difference. I don't know the exact answer. Everyone has their ideas, and we should do this or we should do that. And I mean, I don't know the exact answer. I've been in the industry for a long time, and generally it's stayed pretty much the same as a whole. Some years it gets a little bigger, some years it gets a little smaller. Sometimes it's 10 scale is, the big thing. Sometimes it's 8 scale. It bounces all around. I'm sure there's better that we can do.
But what is it? Like in your mind, like you're ingrained, dude. Your salary, your horizon, you're one of the biggest. Like not only are you big as far as like you're part of big companies, but you're winning. You have your finger on the industry. What is it that we're lacking? In your opinion, what do we need to do? Like, what do I need to do as a shop owner? Yeah. What does Horizon, not anybody specifically, but what are we lacking? What are we lacking to grow the sport? What do we need for people like you to influence other people?
Yeah. I've seen it a little bit. I've seen people. I feel like the biggest connection we have to a big group of people is motocross or supercross. I've seen, there's so many people in the industry now that have ridden dirt bikes or, been a part of that. Maybe they still ride, or maybe maybe they got hurt and they don't ride. It seems like it's kind of that bridge the gap. You can kind of understand what's going on, understand the car control, the racing aspect, that side of things, and not really get hurt. It's a little bit of a safer option. Really not just with dirt bikes, but just cars in general. It's a cheaper option. It's something easier you can do. So just, it's the easy answer is just getting that exposure, which, we're all trying to do. But
do you think like companies like Horizon, who's huge, Horizon is by far the biggest hobby company in the world right now. They have major distribution, tons of brands. Do we need Horizon and people like that to focus their marketing budget towards a different demographic? Or are they doing the right thing and not spending enough? Are they working towards a different goal than what we as racers think we need to go towards? I'm a hobby shop owner. Okay, so I see Traxxas, I see Arma, Axial, these brands, right? And what we see is they work really well when people want that specific like niche or that brand. But are we in front of the right people? And if we're not, where do we need to go with it? Yeah. Not just a hobby shop, but globally. Like, what are we doing wrong to grow this into something that's more globally widespread and allowing us to grow the industry? You and I are in a specific industry. We're in racing.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm a racer. So I could definitely take my business model from Beach RC and I could change it. And I could just go basher and say, fuck the racers, because those guys don't care about anything but themselves. And a lot of people think that. Okay, let's be honest, right? But I could change my business model, go basher, get what's that hobby company that's really big, like the chain. I could take that chain model and just say, okay, we want to do toys, games, rockets, models.
Yeah.
Bashers.
Yeah, just make the money.
Yeah, I could just do that, make some money, and just deal with the local crowd. Or are we really trying to globally expand our brands and get in front of people that are like-minded? So I guess my question is, like, in your opinion, where are we lacking in how we promote this industry? The racing side. I'm not talking about the hobby. Because if you're into RC, like if you watch anything YouTube, you're going to be like, okay, what's that guy's name in England? Whatever, fuck. The guy that fucking shoots like limousine fucking tracks his whatever's over fucking moon. I don't care. The fact is like, there's YouTube and there's all this. It's going to tell you, okay, this is what RC is. Mm-hmm. But then we're industry wide as far as racing, which is the smallest part of the industry in the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. How do we need to grow what we're doing right now? What in your opinion, you've been doing this, how old were you when you started racing?
5.
Okay.
Long time.
20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, 20 years Dakotah Phend's been racing RC cars. Somewhat competitively. Definitely the last 15 years. Yeah. Let's just say the last 15 years, right. Very competitively, okay? So 20 years you've been racing. What is it we are lacking as an industry? And in this, I understand it's pins and needles. You're sponsored by Horizon, TLR. You got a lot of, I'm not trying to throw this to make you like say something you don't want to say or whatever. But what is it we need as a racing industry? Where do we need to go to grow it?
Yeah. There's been talk and stuff. I think there's so much emphasis on qualifying. We do so much time qualifying, and none of the general public understands what qualifying is. It's easy for us to understand because we've been doing it for a while, or you get the explanation, you watch it, but the public doesn't have the explanation. They don't have that that reasoning, that understanding to really like have that desire to really figure it out. They're like, why are they? How do you know who's in the lead? How do you follow this? And when you're listening to the announcing, you wouldn't know. You see whoever car number 3 is in the lead. Like, well, who's car number 3? And then you hear the name. You're like, oh, okay. Well, who's that on the track?
Right.
There's 10 cars driving around the track.
So it's hard to understand is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, you watch NASCAR, you watch Supercross, you watch MotoGP, whatever it may be, and they go out and they do fast lap for qualifying, and they do that for a couple sessions, 10-minute sessions, and it's like whoever has the fastest lap is the top qualifier. Done.
Right.
And then the racing is what decides it, and
so you're saying we one of the things is it's hard to understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's the number one.
Nobody understands that, you start your clock when this transponder crosses this line that you can't see, and then you drive for 5 minutes and you do the fastest. Nobody really understands that. And you can kind of explain it like, oh, yeah, okay, I get it, but it's a little confusing to understand when you really think about it. And that's the main part. And then you go, okay, well, I see the names on the list. Okay, you start your clock when you're on, but who are all of these cars?
Right.
Where are
not
they
everybody
at?
knows paint schemes. Like Scotty Ernst knows Dakotah Phend. Yeah. Scotty Ernst knows Dustin Evans. But like when you put that 10 people, the fastest of the weekend, on the track, it's hard for people to understand what we're looking at. Yeah. Right?
But I guarantee when you go to the main event, Scotty never looks at the screen. He looks at it and go, oh, there's 4 minutes left. There's 3 minutes left. But that's because Scotty knows, though. But that Scotty's an anomaly. Yeah.
We're not talking about the public. Are we trying to grow the hobby, or are we trying to keep Scotty in the know?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm asking. It's like, what do we need to do? I mean, me as personally and the industry as a whole, what can we do to make it better? I mean, you've been in this 20 years. You're 25. You've got national championships. You've got many worlds that you've made finals. You're one of the top drivers in the world right now. Okay. What, with all your experience of 20 years, and you're very young, so like, I'm not expecting you to solve world's problems. Yeah. But you know enough. This is your industry. Mm-hmm. You know it. What do we need to do? Not you as a driver. You have a specific job. Your job title is win fucking races.
Yeah. Simple.
Yeah.
Win, help.
You don't have to do anything else but work on your shit, win races.
Yeah.
What do we as a hobby, what does the industry as a whole, what do we need to do? How do we make more Dakotah Phends? Not just one, but a grand scheme of 50, 100, 1,000 a year. Like, what do we need to do? Because I think that's the biggest problem right now. I mean, this is a small margin business with a lot of people trying to get a piece of that small pie.
Yeah, there's not people retiring, and there's not a lot of people coming into it. There's a few kids coming up that are trying to, make it, and there's no one retiring, and there's only so many spots. There's more teams than we've ever seen.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, there's really not that many spots of people that can make this at a living. So unfortunately, people at a certain point have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Am I doing it? And honestly, it normally happens like end of high school before college.
Right.
You're 17, 18 years old and you have to decide, like, shit, am I good enough to do this as a career and I'm going to, make shit money for a few years and figure it out, or am I done? And
Right.
you see so many talented people that could have, should have, would have made it that, didn't have that opportunity to make it because of that. And I mean, it sucks. It sucks. And I think there needs to be a little bit more clarity in the qualifying, the racing. It needs to be a little bit simpler so that the public can understand. I think there needs to be more advertising to the public so that they are able to understand it. Some type of connection with, something. There needs to be just a connection so people can watch and understand. And I think there needs to be some type of series. We have these large events, these nationals, and they all just have, they have their own characteristics. For the most part, they just have a different name to them. What does it mean to be a national champion? What does it mean to be a Desert Classic champion, a CRC champion, what PMB, whatever it may be? What is unique about these races that make one important to the other if we're all at the same race?
So is it just entries don't mean anything?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I think when it comes to pro level, it really doesn't matter if there's 100 entries or 800 entries, because at the level that we're at, there's 15 guys that can win.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
So those same 15 guys that travel the circuit, and we'll just call the circuit 10th and 8th scale, but like those same 15 guys, if they show up at 10 of the 15 races, because that's where the contingency is, that's where the most entries are, whatever. You show up, you win 7 of them. There's because they're so fragmented, we all have, like, you got the dirt, you've got race time, and then you've got all these individual great events. You win 7 of the 15. You really just won 7 races. Yeah. Big races with some trophies, right? Mm-hmm. And then you go to Roar, which is a whole different fucking subject. And I'm going to be real careful what I say, because I do love this industry and I love my business and I love what I want to do. And I really want to see things grow. But you show up to a Roar event, and right now, as an industry, all the chassis manufacturers, all the motor manufacturers, which I'm part of, and all of the businesses, servos, everybody's like, you win a Roar championship or you win a Roar national, it's like the gospel. You just won something, right? And at one point, in my opinion, this is 100% my opinion, at one point that meant something. That meant a lot. That was like the standard. But right now, what are we winning? Like, I don't want to take away from your Roar Nationals. I'm proud. We're business partners. That was a big day for me. I puked my ass off after you. I ain't gonna lie. Like, so you win 2 Roar Nationals this year, and I got super drunk, and I puked. Me and Billy Fisher drank so much Fireball, and I puked, and I was proud of you, and I'm proud of our efforts, and we worked hard, and you did good, and you deserved it. This wasn't like a fluke, and it was a Roar race, and we hold that to a high regard. Yeah. Okay, right now. But what's it going to take for that Roar National to actually mean what, in my opinion, should mean? So what I mean by that is, in my opinion, at this moment, a Roar National is no more than winning any other race. Mm-hmm. Big race. I mean, when I say big race, Silver State, DNC, PNB, whatever, right? Yeah. I'm not taking away from you because I covet it.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a different name with a different group of people as far as the tech and all that is concerned. But at the end of the day, it's the same racers. We're racing the same people for a different named event.
But do you think, like, because you said, I'm going to go back to what you just said a few minutes ago, something about we need a series or something like that. Do you think that if that was a 3-race series, let's just say East, West, Midwest. Yeah. Somewhere, like first year you like East, West, Midwest is like championship finale. And then the next year it's like Midwest, East, and West championship finale. And then it's like Midwest, West, East championship finale. You move them around. Do you think that it would be more coveted, more important if at some point the national championship was decided based on a series of races versus one weekend?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've talked about this with a lot of people. And, this is, like you said, this is 100% my opinion only. And
full disclosure, anybody that's watching this, if you think that this is like the opinion of Horizon or Losi or anybody else, no, it's bullshit. This is a real man, and he has his own opinion, and he's allowed to have it.
Yeah, so I think that it needs to be a series. Like I said, we race all these events, and they just have different names. Obviously there's more importance on the World Nationals. Maybe we'll go to the warm-up or we'll do a little bit more testing for this event. But as far as the actual winning is concerned, generally speaking, it's the same people that are going for those wins. It's the same manufacturers that are going for those wins. So, I mean, I think it should be a series. I think that Roar should work with, you and Joey and, the Race Time Entertainment crew and kind of just integrate themselves into that and have an overall series for 8 scale, have an overall series for 10 scale. You can have the individual winners.
But that's not going to benefit them.
And, and call it something, but have that overall championship that really means like you are the best at, two-wheel drive buggy. You are the best at nitro buggy for this whole year.
Right.
Not just this one random event
at a
track.
I agree with you. So here's where I have a problem with it is Joey is competing for 800 to 1,000 entry races over here. Dave's competing for 800 to 1,000 entries over here. And Roar has decided that at this point, we don't give a shit. We just need a big 300 plus entry race to decide a champion. So I think where it's convoluted and where we need to fix is it's not about entry numbers. It's about actually consistency. Yeah. So if you put you and Cav and Mayfield and Rifkin and whoever, let's just say 15 guys, right? If you put you guys all in a pot and we know that you guys are going to be the same guys every week and you guys are the I don't want to reference RCGP in a sense, but like you're the series and you were to have those 3 races, most of us want to see you guys race. I mean, we're all fanboys, we're geeks, we geek out on like the good racing. Sometimes it doesn't go that way, but it happens. Most of the time, like you guys are so good that it happens. So it's great racing. But the problem is we're not giving a platform for that right now. Yeah. The platform is Joey's got Silver State and 1,000 entries showing up in DNC. And then Dave's got 1,000 entries at PMB and 900 or 800 at Wicked. But what do you see happening with those races? Like, it's a wild card all the time. Mm-hmm. You never know what you're getting. There's no rules. There's no tech. There's nothing. What really needs to happen? Who needs to do it? And how do we make a real national champion? Regionals don't matter.
They don't even exist anymore.
Exactly.
I remember when I was younger, they used to, like, that's how you got to nationals.
Got to nationals, right?
Yeah.
So, a lot of people aren't willing to work towards fixing that. I know people that are working towards fixing that. I'm one of the people that's trying to be proactive towards fixing that. How do we, in your opinion, how do we make a Roar National Championship in America, our sanctioning body, mean something? What do we need to do?
Yeah. This is probably an unpopular opinion, but I don't think that anyone should just be able to sign up for a national event at the end of the day. Like, if we're having a national event, it should be for the national championship. And those should be the people that are doing that, and there can be the steps to get to that point. Everyone can be a part of it, at whether it be the regional level or, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, there needs to be some type of separation. You don't see with any other sport there be 1,000 entries competing for the same event.
Right.
With whether it be, Supercross, motocross, baseball, MotoGP, F1. Like there's a very select few that get the opportunity, and the reason they get the opportunity is because they made those steps and they got to that opinion, not just they signed up within the first 5 minutes of the entry list opening up.
So basically, you want people to have to qualify for it, not just pay the money and show up. And you want it to be something that there's criteria based on skill level maybe, or basically like how you did at a certain event.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it used to be.
Yeah, there should 100% be some reason that you're at a nationals besides just signing up within the first 2 minutes. I get it's a great experience, and I love that people are able to come and be a part of it at some level. But when it comes to the pro championship, there needs to be some way that you're able to earn that spot, and not just you're with the right team or you signed up quick enough. There needs to be that stepping stone that you're able to get to that point. I mean, it's like that with every other industry that's been successful.
You can't go to Worlds unless you qualify for it.
Yeah.
Right? So regionals, I mean, there used to be a time Roar held regionals, and if you qualified from regionals, you could go to nationals.
They were a big deal too. I remember when I was younger, like that was what you planned for. That was what you led up to.
You worked towards
regionals.
Right. We'll race all year to make sure you get to regionals to win to go to nationals.
Yeah.
What goes nationals right now? I mean, we know as an industry, 15 guys are going to be the guys for the most part. There's always a new one time, like they're coming up, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's not downgrade or disregard the fact that there's people that are trying their butts off to get to that point.
Yeah, there's always kids. There's always
100%.
There's always a younger generation. There's always the people.
Yep.
Yeah, you make that stepping stone, and it's awesome. It's really cool to see. We talked about that with Tater, and there's a bunch of kids that have been coming up and doing that, and it's really cool to see. Honestly, I remember when I'm being at that point, and I always try to remember to have perspective on that. Like I used to be that kid. I used to be kind of like trying to make it. I'm like, I'm trying my butt off, trying to make it. Yeah, and it's so cool to see that, and we need to reward that somehow, and have them be a part of it and get that experience racing at that level. And obviously, the more you do it, the easier it gets. The more you're making the main, even if you're, towards the back, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And you kind of like slowly, you're like, oh, I'm 10th. Then I'm like, oh, now I'm battling for 8th. And then you're 6th. And, all of a sudden, it's, you're up there battling for a top 5. And, it slowly comes up on you. And it's great to have that experience, and it's good to do that. I just think that, we need to go about it a little bit differently, just so it makes a difference. I always have a little bit, I feel like there's a little bit of asterisk next to nationals or whatever the race may be, because it's, you're racing the same people. It's just,
and you just signed up.
It's just another race at a different track. And
even though that I know you would have earned your way into the Phoenix last year, at Adobe, I know you would have made it based on your skill level. I mean, like I said, you're part of the top 15 in the world. You're definitely part of the top 15 in America. Like you would have made it, but you still need that feeling of accomplishment. Like there still needs to be a stepping stone, right? So that's where I'm conflicted. That's where like I see what's going on in this industry right now. I'm like, guys, why are we settling? Why is Roar stepping back and saying, we don't want to do any work, just sign up? And that's where I think the problem is. There's an old guard and they don't care. And there's people like me who have full passion, and people like Alan Horn and the Todd Anderson, and people that have been in this industry. Their families have grown the businesses, and they've been 30, 25, 30 years, and they've seen it go from one way to another. And then the change, the difference is, it's not the shop, it's not the racer. It's the organization who has gotten lazy. It's the organization who said, we don't want to have to do that to make that happen. Because in the grand scheme of things, all you have to really do is put in a little effort. And what drives me more than just batshit crazy is watching, because I grew up in a promoting family. My father promoted motorcycle racing, and that's where I learned anything I know right now is from my father. but you had to work to be better than the other people doing the same thing. Roar has no competition.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying by any means someone should start competition or I'm going to start competition, but the fact is when you get complacent, you don't do anything. And right now, no one's doing anything. So I feel like we need to, as a community, as an organization, as a group of businesses, expect better. We need to hold them to a higher standard, because all we're doing is giving people a pass.
Yeah.
I have no business being in the same race as you. And I mean that with all respect.
Yeah.
I'm decent at what I do, but nowhere near, I'm half as good as what someone like you and Cav and Rifkin and Evans and Mayfield and you guys are. I'm not even close. I don't want to be in the same heat as you. I don't want to race you guys. Do I want to see where I stack up for 300 people in the country? Of course.
Yeah, for sure.
My goal's always been top half.
Yeah.
But I should never have to think about racing against Dakotah Phend, because I'm not that good. We don't separate people anymore because of laziness and the fact that we just don't want to work. I think we need, I'm kind of going off on a tangent. I just think we need new leadership. I'll go back to the Worlds where technical inspection, U.S. team manager was called out a million.
Poor Thomas.
God, poor guy. But the fact that we had somebody that is our race director and somebody that represents the Ifmar organization in the world as a stand-in, doesn't matter if he was put in that place. He had to accept it at some point. I won't name names. Wasn't there. Probably I go back ways, not like you. I'm not 20 years back. I've only been to one Worlds, and that was this year. Mm-hmm. But the fact that the Ifmar president wasn't there blows me away. And it's embarrassing to think that the Ifmar president is not only the stand-in Ifmar president, but he's the Roar race director, the person that we look towards at our events to direct our people. Wasn't there to represent us. I don't understand where we're at as an industry. It's all about money. It's money driven.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
When are we going to fix it? Like, what do we got to do to fix this? Because it's not always about money. We have businesses, we have hobby shops, we have racers, we have companies that manufacture stuff. When do we fix it to make it better? Because right now we're band-aiding every step of the way.
Yeah, we're just kind of stuck where we're at, you know. And I mean, like I said, I won't name any names. I like him personally, but yeah, I think it definitely sucked to not have that there, and you know, for Thomas to be in that position, it sucked. I mean, he was he, like you said, USA team manager.
I don't know how many times we heard that.
It was a lot. It was way too many times.
Way too many times.
It was unfortunate, you, and I feel bad. I don't think he knew exactly what he was getting into, and you know, he was pretty much stuck down there all day, every day, and it took
away from his job.
Yeah, there was,
because he wasn't there to do that. He was there to for TLR Pro Line, obviously.
Yeah,
but TLR, and he was there to do a job.
Yeah, it sucked. One of the days on the lower mandate, you know, we kind of had the day off, just hung out at the house, kind of did what we wanted, and he was stuck at the track, wasn't really able to be a part of, you know, the team, and kind of, you know, hanging out, rebuilding the cars, and just kind of doing whatever we wanted to do. So it definitely sucked. It probably wasn't really a very fun job for him, and I'm sure he's probably not going to say yes next time after that experience. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I just think we need to people. I'm all for people becoming Roar members, and I'm all for tracks becoming Roar members, but people need to get involved. And in a sense, I'm guilty because I've been so against it. I've like, oh fuck it, I'm not even going to pay to be a Roar track or whatever. But I'm wrong. You know, and I'm easy to admit. I'll be the first to admit I'm wrong. The fact is, though, I can pay my money to be a Roar track. I can pay my money to be a Roar member, but I'm not getting anything, in my opinion, out of it. What we need to do as a whole is demand more out of our directors. Mm-hmm. If you're in a region, I'm in Region 3. And as of this year, I became the assistant director of Region 3 for multiple reasons.
Congratulations. That's impressive.
Thank you. It's not very impressive by any means. But the fact is, we all have to demand more out of the people to help us grow and get in front of more people. Because Dakotah Phend is very popular amongst who we have today. But nobody else outside of our industry knows who Dakotah Phend is. And it's not just about Dakotah Phend. It's about the fact that there's businesses that depend on the money that comes in, and there's championships that depend on the validity of our organizations.
Yeah.
We can all have races. We can have this circuits. We can do this, that, and the other. In all honesty, why am I drawing a blank? But the JConcepts INS is probably, for 10 scale, the most legit national 10 scale series there is, because they have four races a year, and the top guys race them, and whoever wins, I believe personally that that's a good series champion.
Yeah, it's a good general overall, like, they had to
you had to compete against a lot of the same guys regularly for four times.
They do different, they do different area. I mean, they pretty much do
east, west,
a little bit of everything,
whatever. Right.
There's different track conditions, and I think that's what's cool, and that's kind of
that's legit.
Yeah,
I'm all about that.
Missing. Yeah,
it's almost to me, it's a national championship.
Yeah,
but it's not really held in the same regard as a Roar championship, even knowing that they do 4 races a year. For whatever reason, the industry covets that ROAR title.
Yeah. There's always that. Yeah, you count the national championships and you count the world championships. There's nobody counts, which you're aware of, but no one's like, oh, I've won this this race this many times, or I've won the INS series this many times, or whatever other race it may be besides being Roar Ifmar. It's just not
right.
That's not what you add in your checklist. You have the Roar race, the Roar Nationals, you have the Ifmar World Championships, and you used to have the Reedy race. Now that's it. That's what you put in your resume.
Right.
That's there's
those are the big ones.
Nothing else matters, but all the other races are exactly the same.
Right.
As far as competition goes,
you're in the format, it's just never ending. The same bullshit, right?
It's crazy. It's very, very, very hard to remember, and it's very frustrating sometimes to do that and be like, okay, this race is called this, so it means this.
Right.
This race has this name, so it means this.
It's because every track wanted something, and to say that I'm any different would be lying. But in the same token, like, we homegrown, we did what we did without any influence.
It's unique.
It's unique.
I mean, I've told a lot of people this. I'm like, after I get done with the Worlds, I can enjoy the rest of my year.
Right.
And that sucks to say, but it's like, I get to come and do Masters, which is a blast. We get to hang out, we get to have a good time. Everybody cares about how you end up, and it's, at the end of the day, it's really serious. It's a really big race. I want to win the overall more, as much as anybody else does. I'm not going to say more because that's not possible. Everybody wants to win.
Of course.
Everybody wants to win, everybody wants to have that title, but I got to have a good time. I got to enjoy this race.
It's a social event.
Yeah, it's
with
a social
big
event.
Title.
And the rest of the races this year are a little bit more relaxed and enjoyable, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. I hate that I have to even say that, but it's it's the truth.
Facts are facts,
it's
man.
hard. It's hard to enjoy races sometimes, and sometimes I forget, and I think I can enjoy some other races more. But you get so caught up in the race names and what the race brings to the table and what it's supposed to represent and what it's supposed to be, and it's really easy to get lost in that. So
right.
Yeah, just try to enjoy as much as I can, and it's cool to have people remind you of that and like, hey, like, have a good time, do this. It was cool to see you having a good time. I'm like, yeah, me too. I appreciate it. I had a great time.
It's been a while.
I loved having a good time. I forgot how to do this. So
right.
I try to keep that in mind. And, it's a big part of why I try to surround myself with the people that I do is to enjoy this, because if I'm not enjoying it anymore, I've always told myself, if I'm not enjoying this, then I'm out.
Right.
The day I have to do this because I have to do this, I don't want to do it anymore.
So what's next?
I don't know. I don't know.
Did you do any higher education out of high school?
I did a little bit of college. I kind of got shafted on that a little bit. It's a long story, but I worked really, really hard in, middle school and high school and all that. I missed, 40, 50 days a year.
Traveling for RC? Yeah,
traveling for RC. My parents were super, super supportive. They were awesome. They helped me every way they could, they spent so much money. They were so dedicated. They spent so much time, taking time off work, staying up late. I remember a funny story, which I'm sure you probably won't appreciate this, but I remember going to bed, and my mom told me this story. My dad used to sit in the bathroom, in his underwear with a heat lamp on so he could see gluing up tires. So I could go and race the next day with a fresh set of tires.
That's awesome.
And that way I could, get some sleep when I'm, 8, 9 years old. And, it's stuff like that that's just, crazy to think about and crazy to remember. And, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do next, but I always remind myself, like, all this money, all this time that was spent doing this, like, I have to remember to enjoy this.
Right.
When I'm done enjoying this, like, let's try to do something else. I can get a job at some point.
But do you think that, like, this is where do you think that you'll be in the industry after driving? Like, is this where you want to be? Do you like it enough to, like, I don't know. Are you a team manager type? Are you a brand manager type? Are you a manufacturer, like, representative? Mm-hmm. What is this where you want to be? Or do you see yourself as going back kind of to getting some higher education, becoming an engineer or a architect, or like, yeah. What do you see?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I completely forgot about that. So I did go to I completely forgot about that. So I did go to college for a year and a half for mechanical engineering. Shocker.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, everybody in this industry is a mechanical engineer.
Yeah, so I went for a year and a half. They had said they were willing to work with me with my schedule and stuff. Didn't happen to be the case. So once I got to some of the classes that involved the actual engineering and not just the core classes, it was like, kind of sorry about your luck. So I was fortunate enough that I was able to make the decision, like, okay, well, I'm just going to do RC full time and be able to make a living about that. And I'm very thankful for that. I think that's always going to kind of be something kind of like that was a really, really big decision on my life, getting married and making that decision, like, okay, I'm going to actually do this for a living, Right. It was about that time I got married. I got married at 19. So I was very young, and I just dropped out of college pretty much like at that time that I got married. And I'm like, shit, like, I got to make this work. I have to, be successful in this industry. So it took me a little while to kind of figure that out and get that balance. But, 6 years later, I love this industry. I've been in it pretty much my whole life. I started when I was 5. I love this industry. I could totally see myself staying in it and, some point. But, I could see myself also being like, all right, it's time to move on and going somewhere else as well. So yeah. I honestly don't really know exactly what's going to happen. I know I have options with the connections I made with Horizon. I've been with them for such a long time that I'm thankful enough to have some opportunities with them. And I know that I can also, go somewhere else and do something else if I need to do that. So I don't know. Honestly,
you've been very loyal to Horizon. A lot of people move around. Someone's always looking for the best deal.
Yeah.
You've been very loyal. You've stuck a Horizon. I don't know, even past 10 years. Okay. So 20 years of being in this industry, you've been racing low C the whole time, right? For the most part. You did a little bit of AE early on.
Yeah. So I started out, with a Tamiya Blitzer Beetle. Mm-hmm. Did not have a sponsorship with Tamiya, but I rocked that Blitzer Beetle like no other.
Are you sure? I had a Falcon. Right. So in 87, yeah, Tamiya Falcon, let's go.
Tamiya was a thing, man. I still remember my parents still have this car, which is a crazy thing. They kept absolutely everything. So I got my first car, I got my second car, I got my third car. I got everything, which is awesome because I'm really going to appreciate that someday. For sure. So I started out with a Tamiya Blitzer Beetle. I went to the T3, did the B3, did all that, and then switched to low C with the BK2, the MF2, that was, I've been with them ever since. I always get the numbers a little bit mixed up. I believe I was 8-ish, maybe 9 when I got sponsored by Losi, at some shape or form.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
25, right?
Yeah. So I've been with them ever since, and I don't know. My parents always just tried to instill loyalty. You know, I've had my good years. I've had my bad years. You know, Horizon, TLR, whatever's had their good years. They've had their bad years, and I think we kind of just have an understanding. You know, we're kind of in this together. You know, we're in this industry together, and we're willing to work with each other and figure it out. And I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's like really super crazy to understand, but apparently it's not very common. So
in the short time I've been in here, I can't remember anybody staying as long as you have. So it's pretty awesome because loyalty means a lot to someone like myself. I mean, I'm a small guy in this little, in the industry where there's some much bigger fish than what we are. So the fact that, one of the proudest moments I had, and this is not like, oh, I'm a fanboy of Dakotah Phend, but I remember 2 years ago talking with Thomas Tran at Silver State. It was my first Silver State, and Thomas came up to me. He said, just hypothetically, if Dakota wanted to run Ultimate, would you entertain it? It's like, fucking A. Yes. It was like real simple. Like I'm just this kid trying to I say kid, shit, I'm old. And I'm like, yeah, man, like just let me know. Let's talk whenever you're ready. And then Thomas and I have been buddies for a while, and you and I, we've known each other, but like maybe not so tight. And but when I look back and I do my research and I've done all the stuff that I've been doing over the past 10 years, I like, oh man, Dakota's like, that's a guy that appreciates business. Like, I don't want to say, I mean, at 25, you may be ahead of your time, but in the same token, like, I don't know how much you know about business, and loyalty. And we don't know each other very well. And I'm like, I'm just this guy trying to make it. I've got this brand. I'm trying to grow it. And, but I know you're good. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, at that time, the only person I had that was, Tyler Jones was my top guy, and he was good. He was doing really good, like helping me build the brand at the time. Yeah. But we didn't have a Dakota and then Cole Ogden and whatever. Like, we didn't have that. And so when he asked me that, I was like, wow, there's a chance. Like, I have a chance. I have a chance to get that guy that could change what we're doing. Yeah. And even if it never worked out, even if you didn't win 2 Roar championships, no matter what, it was like I started paying way more attention and learning who is Dakota, just watching you race and seeing what you do. And sometimes I felt you were handicapped, like your equipment. Like, I'd look back and be like, dude's running Spectrum. In your case, like, you don't know different because, like, that's what you run. And a lot of people look at it as a downgrade. But you look at it as like, this is what I use as a tool. Yeah. So as a person trying to grow my business in the industry that's so small, I'm thinking like, does he have what it takes for me to go to the next level? Can I afford that? Can I afford potential issues outside of my control? And people got to look at that. But the deciding factor for me, which is not a lot of people get the opportunity to witness or be a part of, was how we interacted at Masters. Masters changed my view on you because of the way that you interacted with me and the people. And people don't understand, like, the difference of a person willing to be themselves versus a person that's a company man. You're both. Yeah. Thankfully, at the moment, you got Thomas Tran, your team manager. He lets you be both. Yeah, definitely. And not a lot of guys do. And I respect all of them. They all have their own ways of doing business. But we gravitate to what I feel is I don't know. I guess the word I don't know what I'm looking for, but we gravitate to people that are all like-minded in a sense. Like we see the same things, right? So the fact that you hang out and we can have a beer together, we don't have to get drunk or party, but we can just chill and talk about nothing but ours, not even RC.
It's whatever.
Yeah, but when Thomas came to me 2 years ago, and then it became reality a year later, and then within that year, we did big things. And then, growing a relationship. I feel like we need more of that. And this isn't like trying to boost ego or Dakotah Phend. This is, industry needs more.
Yeah. It's just it's just an understanding. I feel like it was pretty simple. It was like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Like, hey, this is what you're looking for. It's like, okay.
There's a match.
Yeah, let's how will we do this then? Like, okay, well, that's just meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
I think for us it was pretty simple and pretty straightforward, honestly. It really wasn't anything crazy,
But
it just worked out.
I've dealt with some contracts over the years, and people expect a lot more than, you're a big deal to me. Let's be honest, you're top 5 in the world, in my opinion, and most people's opinion, and results. You're good. Like, you're in your prime. You're doing fucking fantastic. I'm a small company. A lot of people could pay way more money, and money's not even really what we're talking about here. But the fact is, when there was an opportunity for you to go to a lot of places and do a lot of things, there was a connection. So I'm trying to not relate this towards our relationship, but more towards what the industry needs, in a sense of people need to stop searching for the best deal. Mm-hmm. People need to search for what fits. And I'm not saying that I'm not the best deal for you or we fit the best, but I feel like we've had a good working relationship. Mm-hmm. And even outside, we have a good relationship. People are always looking for the best deal, which opens up a can of worms. But going back to the 50%ers and the people, God, I did not want to fucking talk about RC like this. This was not.
You just get stuck on it.
I know, because this is just what we're in, and it's driving me nuts. And I keep on finding myself talking to you about it, and it's like exactly against what this was all about.
We'll edit the last hour out. we'll go back to boats.
Do you like guns?
I do.
Perfect. I love guns. What's your favorite gun?
I just got a CZ.
Did you? Which one?
I absolutely love it. It's a CZ P10C. It's a pistol. Absolutely love it. I had no idea what to expect. I've been a SIG guy for a little bit, at least as far
those are nice though.
Pistol concerned, and I picked up this CZ, and I'm like, oh man, it fits me, man. It's like it's perfect.
Is it so? That's a full size gun, the CZ10, right? Or that's a full size pistol.
Yeah, it's 15+1, so it's medium to full size.
Man, I've been really getting into pistols lately, so I love the Canics. I've been really liking the Canics. Yep. And SIGs you can't go wrong with. So where you live in Indiana, do you have a conceal and carry or anything like that? Or
yeah, so it was kind of an interesting experience. So lived in Michigan. I went and got I'm just going to call it a CPL. It's called something different in Michigan. CCL, I think, in Michigan. CPL in Indiana. I went and did that in Michigan. Went and did the class, blah, blah, blah. Went to Indiana. Went and got my fingerprints. Super easy. Made it happen. Got that there. It's hard with traveling. But, you do what you can to be safe as possible. It's a crazy world we live in. And, I've always enjoyed shooting. I have a problem. I'm like all or nothing.
Yeah.
Chloe will tell you this.
That's not your problem. That's our problem,
yeah.
dude.
I'm like 100% or nothing,
Yep.
So I got my CPL at Michigan. I'm like 100% into it. We got a gun membership. We were shooting, 1,000 rounds a month, at this club. We just show up, have our card. Boom, here's my card, baby.
Give me some ammo.
Yeah, go shooting. We had these virtual targets we're shooting at, and doing all these it's like Modern Warfare virtually. You're actually shooting a real gun. It's like, dude, this is dialed. And then COVID hit, and it's like bullets are at least $5 a bullet, and I'm like, oh man, this sucks. So then I kind of got out of it for a little bit, and then we moved to Indiana, and I don't know. A
little bit more gun toting in Indiana.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but it's like now I can shoot in my backyard and do whatever I want. So now I'm like,
you got some land though.
Yeah, I got a little bit of land, so I'm like, I literally can do whatever I want now. It's awesome. I honestly, I could shoot dynamite off in my backyard and nobody would care. Everyone would be like, oh, that's cool, man.
That's awesome.
So I can do whatever I want. So I'm like, I'm back into guns now, full force, 100%. Clay's like, come on. It's gonna last a couple months, and you're gonna be over and into something else. And I'm like, yeah, but
this is just proving my point. You're just a real dude.
Yeah,
we're dudes. We're dudes that just are fortunate to be in an industry everyone wants to be in because they think, oh, it's the greatest. But guns are awesome, and people should have the right to carry guns. This is America. We have a Second Amendment, so 100%. It's not a popular opinion with certain groups. But I actually have my FFL. So I sell firearms. A lot of people don't know that.
I actually didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I sell firearms. I ship firearms all over the country. I sell ammo and everything else. It's a whole nother division of what I do. I got that last year. It was like it's part of moving forward. Just having options in life.
You're going to be a seller of life options.
I'm a life
option. Everything. You're going to be selling oils and candles.
Bro, it won't be long. I'll be selling boats and
a little bit of everything.
Yeah, no, candles, no. There's no money in candles, bro, except for like Yankee Candles. The dude's a billionaire. But no, like I feel like, we have options as Americans. And I'm very patriotic. I'm a very fuck you to if you don't like America kind of guy, So I'm an FJB guy. Yeah, people know I wear hats. I'm very, very politically pronounced on how I feel about what side I lean, and it's always towards what's better for us. But guns is very important to me because when we were in Spain, I had a long talk with Mark and Roger as I was sitting there eating sushi one day with them. It was like the day or two before you showed up to Barcelona. And they were like, we started talking about crime. And Mark told me, he's like, oh yeah, we don't have a lot of crime. And I was like, oh man, I carry a pistol every day. He's like, what? And and Mark and I and Roger, that whole company were very tight, and they treat me very good, and I love them to death. But I kind of got nervous because I'm very pro Second Amendment, and I'm always carry a pistol, and they're like, very different, very Europeanly different, and it kind of got to the point where I was like, oh, I got to be careful what I say. But then again, that's against what I believe. But when it comes down to what we believe in, you shouldn't have any reservations, and nobody should think differently of you.
Yeah, there should be a certain type of respect to a certain level, I guess, at least, that you can have your opinion, I can have my opinion, and
still be friends.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's not like you said, I like guns and I beat women. You never said that. Just because you like guns don't mean that you're a violent person. Yeah. And so I think there's a misconstrued version of liking guns. In this, especially right now with what's going on, because they're trying to take them away, So I feel like, let's just all get along. Don't worry about what I like. Do you like me?
Yeah.
Do you believe in what I do? Or have I ever treated you poorly? Did I come up to you and be like, Dakotah Phend's a dick. Dakotah Phend sucks. It's not about that. It's about, are you a good person? Am I a good person? Cool, we get along. You know what I mean? You might not believe in my religion or whatever. Guns are amazing. And if people don't understand it, it's because they've never held one. They've never used one. They're a life tool. Let's face it.
Yeah, you can do a lot of things with them. And
if you didn't have a gun,
most of the time, most people aren't eating, you know. Yeah, we got slaughterhouses and chickens that go through like conveyor belts and shit like that. Yeah. But like if we didn't have that, what are we doing? We're shooting deer.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what my wife does. She goes out hunting with Sontag for hours, and
someone's got to. You're gone all the time.
I know. I go to the track with Tater.
We come back and there's a deer in the freezer.
Yeah, we recently just did this. We kind of met halfway. Not really. Mike's kind of scammed out. He drove like 40 minutes. I drove like almost 2 hours, but we met in the middle.
Sounds like a Sontag deal.
We met in the middle, and I traded Chloe for Tater. I feel like I got a little bit of short end of the stick on that one, but whatever. It's Tater, so that's all good. And they went hunting for a few days and shot nothing, and me and Tater went and did some driving. It was great.
She got the better end of that deal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
She didn't get to shoot anything, but she, sat in a blind, freezing cold. And she had a heater. She did bring a heater, so she had a heater, but that was about all that happened. It's funny because I was like, they asked me when I wanted to do this, and I'm like, well, let's do it on Wednesday and Thursday because it's supposed to rain. Right? So I didn't even think about like hunting. I'm just like, well, it's going to be a crappy day, so I'd rather be inside at the track.
Right.
And she's like, Dakota, this sucks. It's raining all day.
Oh.
And I'm like, don't you remember our conversation? Didn't you look at the weather? Don't you remember our conversation? This is why I wanted to do it this day. I'm like, I didn't even think about hunting. I'm
thinking about driving.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I don't want to be inside when it's a nice day. We're in the Midwest. We got to make it happen when it counts. So that was funny. And now it's like, I'm looking at the weather and I'm like, oh shit, it's 70 today. It was 70 yesterday. I got Monday. I'm gonna make Monday count, baby. I'm not even taking a day off, dude. I'm going full force, dude. I get home, I'm going straight out. I'm enjoying the day. I'm probably gonna take my bike out, do some riding, enjoy that. I don't know what else I'm gonna do besides that. Maybe I'll just.
She's out freezing.
Yeah, I'll just lay out. I'm just gonna lay out in the grass and enjoy the sun while I can, because it's gonna be gone on Tuesday.
You drink your body armor water.
Yeah. Hey, just so we remember, body armor. I'm gonna be sending in my resume. So.
Body armor. This podcast will be big in 5 years, so just watch it in 5 years from now. Look, man, it is. It's been a long day, and we're 12:50 p.m. a.m. American time, and I've got Misha Vidmar probably turning 1 million laps over at the shop while he waits for us. So, and dude, I've got to piss so bad, like. I would talk for another 3 hours, but I'm about to piss on myself. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, we'll do one more fireball.
No.
You gotta do one more fireball.
Off the. You
gotta do one more fireball.
Are you gonna wait until I pee and I'll come back?
That's fine.
He's got it. Give him one. I'll be right back.
Literally can't wait.
I can't.
Oh, that's awesome. He's out of here, guys. Ready? Yeah. All right. Nice. A little better that time. Yeah. These are very uncold at this point. They're supposed to be in the freezer, but the freezer sucks apparently because these are warmer than room temperature. We'll get this one ready. Boop. Can't believe you couldn't wait. Another couple minutes, guys. Couple minutes. We could have been done. Brent couldn't make it. 6 minutes to 1 p.m. and he's out. He's done. It's past his bedtime. That's fine. I've been staring at this surfboard all night long. Right. It's a shark with some, I don't know what, it's like a messed up shark with some, it's a messed up shark with some waves. It's got a bikini on its tail. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's pretty cool, though. There you go. Brent's back. He feels a little better now.
I'm pretty sure that when Joe Rogan does like a 3-hour podcast, like he has a bottle under the table and he pisses in because
got a catheter or something.
There is no possible way that they can do 3 hours without pissing, especially if they're drinking whiskey or smoking blunts or whatever they do. But Robert, you got one? Oh my god, I am kind of feeling sick.
You did this to yourself. It's a fireball. It's a fireball race.
Open.
Oh, I'm drinking it. Don't worry. Another one.
No. I think this is the end of Fireball.
It gets better. I used to hate it. Now I kind of like it. It's not bad.
Why are you doing this to me?
It's good. Maybe next year we'll do Fireball instead of we got the Patron Friday. We'll just do another. Let's do another
I was
Fireball
hoping you were
Friday.
going to forget that awesome name.
Patron Friday.
Patron Friday.
I was telling everyone about this. I don't know what this surfboard thing over here with the messed up shark and bikini it's got on its tail.
So
Can you talk about that for a minute? What is this?
okay, so 3 years ago, backstory on how I got that. 3 years ago was this benefit event at this local bar and restaurant called the Boathouse, which is actually right on the waterway where we spend a lot of our time in the summertime. And they had a benefit for a man named Andre Pope, who was pretty close to me because he ended up with esophageal cancer. And I met him as a professor when I was going to tech for graphic design and computer science. And we were about the same age because I went real late. I went to school because the South Carolina Lottery would pay for residents to go to school. And I was already self-taught in graphic design. Okay. And I was working from home, and I just told my wife, I was like, I'd really like to go just get an associate's degree, whatever. So my second year, or halfway through my first year, I got into one of Pope's classes. Well, we were literally, I would say, within a year of our age together. And I loved him as a professor, and actually we would go to lunch together, and then finally we were hanging out as a family, like his kids and my family, and we spent some time together. We weren't like best friends or anything. So long story short, he come down with esophageal cancer, and one of my really precious friends, and who is a very close friend of mine, Andy Kemp, who owns a produce company locally, who grew up with Andre. It's like this small circle of people. We had this big event for him called the Smokeout at the Boathouse, which I helped him with, and we had silent auctions.
Okay.
And there was a bunch of things like 2-day, 3-night stay at this resort, and this, that, and the other, and there might have been a painting, or there might have been this, that. Well, that surfboard, which is...
It's pretty cool.
It's actually kind of like that stuff up top, like the ceiling tiles, like the hanging ceiling tiles, is kind of what that stuff is. I don't even know what it is. And that it was painted by a guy named Heath something, and he's a local tattoo artist, and that's just a painting, who was tight with Andre, and I bid on it, and I won, and that painting just kind of represents that piece of life and friend that we lost, but I won it. It cost a lot of money, and I was proud to pay it. Helped his family and went towards whatever, but it's just a nice little conversation piece. Something that I thought about as like I'm building, because as if you're watching this is like the first. Literally, I'm not even ready. I didn't want to like give up the opportunity of having people in, because we had RCGP last week, and then we got Masters this week, and I knew I had Europeans last week, which I couldn't capitalize on, and then I had like you and Cav and Spencer and Dustin and Misha and Joe Bornhorst, whatever. Like I had all these great racers in town that I want to talk to. I want to learn more about. I want to talk about life. But I got this fucking white wall, dude, and a TV with nothing on it, and
a little bit of reflection on it. That's okay. We did our best. We worked on it.
I mean, I walked in. I was like, we didn't have the video rolling, but I'm like turning knobs and shit. It's like, oh, let's get some mood lighting. I'm so fucking unprepared. But like that's supposed to have my logo, or if we wanted to send to Robert, like, hey, play this video for us, and I need something up there. I need color. I got in my office, which I haven't shown you yet. So I got bodies and stuff, which you could always send me a body if you want.
You could always ask.
Why should I ask?
All right.
So anyway, it's like I've got this blank canvas. So starting now, day one, you're pilot. You're the number one guy, first guy. Like I'm gonna add color. I want to add texture. So this is just the beginning. You're not gonna be the last or the first person and not only come back on again, because this is just the first time. I'd love to have you back on if you want to come back. And we're gonna perfect it. This is just the beginning. I'm unprepared because I'm busy, not because lack of desire.
You do a little bit of everything. You got the indoor track, you got the outdoor track now, which sounds like it was a lot of fun last week.
You want it?
I did hear about this.
I'll give it to you for whatever it costs me. You just got to move here.
Look at that, guys. This is a little bit of a broadcast here. If anybody's interested.
Just FYI, it's for sale.
A couple weeks in, and
not till after fall brawl.
Yeah, one more. We got one more race. Well, there was a good story about RCGP, man. Lots of work. It sounds like on your part, and welcome to outdoor racing. You got broke in real quick.
It's like when you take the
welcome.
Poof, poof, poof. Earth the Brent. Don't be a dumbass. That's what it said to me. Like I shouldn't have done that. The only reason I took it is because if I didn't, who would have got it?
Yeah.
And then it worried me.
Yeah.
It's
a cool place. I've always wanted to go. I was hoping I was going to be able to make it out last week. Whatever happened. That's a story for a different day. But
I'm not going to thank the people that made it make it not happen for you.
Yeah.
But I will say, if things move forward, and I have a say in it,
I'll be there.
Dakotah Phend and Cole Ogden will be my team. And we will win. Not only will we win races, we will win the championship. But I need to see things happen. All of us need to see things happen. RCGP is a great concept. Just needs a little bit of work. And after being part of an event, not just as a team owner, but like fully team owner track, there's more than just work that needs. I mean, it's going to take some time.
Yeah. It's
a great concept. It's a great concept, and I hope that they continue. However, they really need to take a step back and look at what's important, not just their thoughts and ideals. Thoughts and ideals are great in concept and can be accomplished, but not overnight.
Yeah.
So
this is my fault. We went back down the rabbit hole, RC.
Fuck, why'd you do that to me?
That's my bad. I did it again. It's so hard, guys. You don't understand. This is what we do day in, day out.
I just want to talk about what you do at home and stuff. Do you eat sandwiches?
I do eat sandwiches.
What do you like? Turkey, ham?
I do a little bit of everything. I got to mix it up. I'll do a turkey and a ham. You can't do just one.
Do you go to the gym?
Turkey and ham. I have a gym in the basement.
Do you use it?
No. I don't use it. But guess what, guys? I plan on it.
You plan on it?
I plan on it.
Let's talk more.
Maybe
I can motivate you.
I'll do it on Monday.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
No, you won't.
I'll do it on Monday.
How about Tuesday?
I'll send you.
Because that's when I'll do.
All right. I'm
not going back to the gym till Tuesday.
All right. I'll send you a video. I'll do it on Tuesday.
You can get my hopes up?
I'll do it on Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday.
All right, guys. Dakota, we're going to go to the gym on Tuesday. We're going to make it happen.
This has been awesome. Like I said before, I just enjoy being around you. I enjoy our time together. I enjoy being around you at the races. I appreciate the hard work you put in. You're a professional, and you're a real person, and we need more of that. And I just thank you for not only helping me as a company and being a friend and someone that I can talk to, but having the confidence to come on here and just shoot the shit with some bullshit. I mean, we've been drinking. We had a good time. It's been a long weekend. it's another one of those mundane, work weekends for you. It's been hard for me. We know I've done 43,000 steps in like 3 days. My watch says, slow the fuck down, Brent. It's like what it says. It has like this, I don't even know how it knows my name. It says, slow the fuck down. It's, I just thank you for everything you're doing. Keep being you, man.
Yeah.
Don't change.
It's been a blast. I don't know. I think people probably know me as a more of like a very professional person, but I really enjoy having the opportunity to be a little bit more myself and have a good time and enjoy it. And, I appreciate this. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy coming on the podcast and having a good time and, being able to do whatever and talk about RC, talk about not RC things.
Next time, less RC.
Enjoy it. Yeah, we'll work on that. It's a work in progress. Like you said, it's the first one. We'll get better. I'll come back on and we'll talk less about RC.
I know I'm going to see you at least in a year, but like I'm going to get you back before that. So the whole what we're trying to do here is like, this isn't a money making podcast. This isn't like, hey, I need advertisers. This is, if anyone wants to help get people here, you can pay to fly somebody here.
Yeah.
Because my podcast, Wheel and Trigger, is in person only. We're not doing these Zoom calls and Skype and stuff. This is, if you're not sitting in front of me, if you're not sitting in front of me, I'll wait until next month, next year, whatever. Yeah. So, in the grand scheme of things, you're here. I think I missed some opportunities because of lack of preparation, but we're building a foundation, and I couldn't have been happier than to have you as part of like being the beginning. And thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for being Dakotah Phend, not just a robot, a racer, somebody that just like company man. Thank you for enjoying what you do, because a lot of people don't understand. You guys work hard and you sacrifice a lot. And as someone like me who has a family right now, I appreciate that because it's hard. And when you do decide to go that next step in the decisions that you have to make, nobody should ever think differently of you, because we all are humans, right? I mean, we work hard. We need to make a living. We have talent. Your talent is driving RC cars better than anybody I've seen. My talent is unknown. But the fact of the matter is, like, we connect, and we're like-minded. And like I said, I really appreciate you, and I appreciate the camaraderie, the friendship, and I look forward to doing this again, because it's not over.
Yeah,
it's not over at all.
So. Yeah, it was my honor to be the first one on here. It's a short flight, hour and a half, baby. Yeah. I'll be back.
You got a bunch of miles, so I'm not going to pay for your flight back.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I got a lot of miles, man. I rack them up. So
awesome.
I'll be back.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem, man.
It's time to go home. Maybe we'll do another shot off the camera.
All right.
All right. We out. I appreciate everybody for listening, and we'll be back. Wheel and Trigger. I think I've got somebody coming up soon for a new one, but beachRC.com. Here we go.